mountain of trash is many things to this child: a playground, a workplace, and a home. Thousands of children live and work on this garbage dump in Cebu, Philippines. Its name, Umapad. Families at Umapad are the poorest of the poor, scratching out a living by sorting through garbage. These families touched my heart in 2010 while I was traveling as a video journalist. I am overjoyed to finally be back with more than just a camera. This time, I am bringing help. I see many familiar faces on my first day. I am looking for one child in particular, named Mary Grace.
Gaman ako, ang akong plano sa akong kinabuhi gaman lang tan ako sa kanang.
That was Mary Grace Rapitan in 2010. She inspired me enough to direct a documentary about her struggle to go to school while living as a scavenger on the Umapad garbage dump. My film Grace went on to appear in almost a dozen festivals worldwide.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the director of Grace. Please welcome winner of the award for the best short film in children's advocacy category, director Meagan Kelly.
Ooh. This just means so much to me. That girl, I miss her so much. Soon after, I felt God place a longing in my heart to give something back. I established the Gift of Grace Foundation, a nonprofit organization focused on sending children like Mary Grace to school. I spent a year raising awareness and asking Canadians to get involved. I took the film into schools where many students donated. Canadians gave generously. Together we raised more than $16,000 for scavenger families. The Gift of Grace Foundation partnered with a faith-based charity in the Philippines called JPIC, which stands for Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation. The executive director, Father Eugene Docoy, has spent many years getting to know families living on garbage dumps.
There are families, they come to the city to earn a living because they believe that in an urban area there are lots of opportunities for a living. But then they realize when they come up to the city, they realize that there is really no job for them. And the cost of living expenses is very high. So they come here and they end up going into the dump site, and they have very low income. They cannot even afford to send their children to school.
I've returned to the Philippines to help set up our scholarship program, meet with the women and children, and start developing other educational programs. On my third day in the country, I returned to Umapad for the first time in almost 2 years. One of the first things I do is find Mary Grace. I don't bring a video camera. I want to visit her as a friend, not a filmmaker. As a result, I only have a few photos of our reunion. She smiles when we lock eyes, then becomes painfully shy. I'm told through a translator Mary Grace says she feels ashamed. Why? Mary Grace had to quit school to scavenge in November and hasn't gone back since. She is too embarrassed to return. The next day, I take her out to show her the documentary, which she hasn't seen until now. Mary Grace watched with intensity, but at the end she cried. She told me she cried because she did not achieve her dreams. I told her it's never too late. As hard as it was for me to see Mary Grace in pain, I know this is all the more reason to continue the mission of the Gift of Grace Foundation. In this local preschool, the rooms are full, but as children get older, dropping out to work on the garbage dump is increasingly common. Parents struggle to make ends meet.
Some of the children, they go to school, many of those children, they go to school, and then at the middle of the school year, they stop because the parents could no longer afford to send them to school.
According to the United Nations, 44% of the population in the Philippines makes less than $2 a day. That's 42 million people. For some, scavenging is the only option. There are 5 garbage dumps in Cebu, populated by thousands of families. They will spend the day in 35-degree heat looking for plastics, cardboard, metals, or anything they can trade in for money at the local junk shop. It's not as crowded as usual because the garbage trucks are carrying mostly non-recyclable material today, but dangers are still present.
And many of these children, they are, because they don't have protective gears. I mean, they go to the dump sites, all kinds of, there are broken glasses, there are nails, there are metals, there are anything that could hurt their feet. And they don't have anything to protect their feet. And they go, many of the students, they go barefooted, so they hurt themselves. We are not only talking about physical garbage, we are not only talking about material garbage, we are also talking of personal garbage. They are talking about any psychological or emotional garbage there. Everybody is scrambling, everybody is pushing, everybody is, there is no peace at the garbage dumps.
Many children have been run over, even killed by garbage trucks and bulldozers. Tuberculosis, respiratory infections, and skin diseases are the most common illnesses. So why does this happen? Some say politics and corruption. Others say a lack of access to education. All say it's time to do something.
We want to bring the children as much as we can to go to school, because children who are going to schools, they develop a sense of hope, they develop a sense of desire to get out of poverty.
I saw hope firsthand when I filmed Mary Grace in 2010. She may have lost some of that since I left, but I haven't lost hope in her. If anything, I'm more determined than ever to give children like her the chance to become students instead of scavengers.
Tungod gusto ko nga makatabang ko sa pamilya.